Hype, hype. Come with me tonight. Can't you see? I wanna be with you. Hype, hype. Come with me tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is very, very well out there on this Friday night. What a day. What a day. West Ham United are back at the weekend. We are facing Aston Villa away from home. Will it be repeat for them or will it be revenge for us? To my right is Jay. You know who he is. Jay, what are you saying about today's events?
I said on, was it Monday? Was it Tuesday? I can't wait for January to be over, and I can't wait to go to bed. Like this is too much, man. Like there's just so much going on, and none of it is new players through the door, which is the most frustrating thing. But look, yeah, it's another crazy day in the world that is West Ham. Is it that crazy? Probably not. I'll ask your thoughts in a moment. But obviously the news that McCauley is officially in and Steiden is well, not officially, but on the verge of being out the door.
Yeah.
It's quite logical. First and foremost, McCauley's followed him throughout his career. It seems McCauley is the scientific, data-driven kind of guy that we're probably going to need to be head of recruitment. Does it address all of our problems? Probably not. It probably will improve our talent ID, and it will lower the size of ego in our recruitment team. But it will still leave a vacuumous hole in the technical director position that I believe we have to address at some point, which I'm sure we can come to. But how are you feeling, mate? How's the news gone down with you?
I've done a video earlier on. I done a rumour has it show, and I sort of give my final say on it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not going to go into whatever. I'm not going to go over it again. Go and watch that video, everyone. Yeah, that I've done. I just basically give my final assessment on Tim Steiden's reign. Do you know what I'm saying? Listen, I can be balanced as much as the next man, but also I can't sit there and lie to myself. And I'm not going to lie to the people. And I said it for a long time, ever since I've done YouTube. I will not lie to the people for my own gain. Do you know what I mean? If I'm wrong, I'll hold my hands up and say, listen, I was wrong on that one. And I'm a bigger man to hold my hands up. But on the Steiden thing, it's in one way, it's a new era now. Like everything's fresh. There's no more Moyes, there's no more Steiden, there's no more anyone. Yeah, everyone's gonna go. It's a reset. Obviously, people are scared out there. I'm not gonna lie, they are shit scared because Sullivan's in charge of transfers. Now, I get that. But this is where Carl McCauley comes in. Do you know what I mean? This is why this geezer's here. Like geezer's here to do a job. And I just hope, Jay, that people learn from the Steiden thing and the Carl McCauley thing and just go, you know what, let the geezer do his job. Let's not have a song about the geezer. Let him do his job, find players and do what he's paid to fucking do. So I'm going to let you sort of land on anything you want to add, Jay, in regards to...
mate, I completely agree with you on that. And I guess... The talent ID is where I kind of draw the line. Like I can kind of accept having a bloke in the chair who's got a bit of an ego about him. Like it's not great to watch, but if his talent ID was 10 out of 10, we wouldn't be sat here having this conversation. If he had built us the squad that we were expecting to have with 120 million quid in the summer, then ultimately we wouldn't be sat here saying that Tim Steiden's on his way out and perhaps Carlo McCauley would be coming in to work alongside him and just to further strengthen that recruitment team. So that's the main issue for me. I do agree with the people who are a bit concerned with the fact that David Sullivan has already got his grubby mitts all over the transfers that we've been involved in this January. And it reeks to the high heavens, doesn't it? The latest one that really, really got me is now Karen Brady is involved in transfers as well. And the Ezekiel Banzuzi one that we've been talking about, was it done? Was it not done? Yeah. Then it's done. Then it's announced. Then it's not announced. Then it's announced and withdrawn from X. I did feel for him on that one, but it was quite funny. And then the bit that got me was West Ham have sent a letter of interest to OH Leuven. I don't know if you've seen that. A letter of interest. Just make a bid or don't make a bid. And I guarantee this is the club that we're trying to buy him from, being like, look, lads, are you going to buy him or are you not going to buy him? Because if you're going to buy him, then buy him. If you're not going to buy him, then just tell us you ain't going to buy him. And it's as simple as that. But we want to have our cake and eat it. We want to go through the standard kind of process that we go through, which is have a look at all the deals that are out there, talk about it for a few weeks, I get that we may have been stalling for Carl McCauley to arrive, but he will know about this guy, and you could easily get an answer from him whilst he's like on the verge of coming and be like, mate, yes or no. And he'd probably have told you a yes or no. It's a very modest fee, but this is a symptom of what we can get used to if we don't replace the outgoing Tim Steidten. So I will shed no tears. I will show no sadness that Tim Steiden's going. I think he's got his positives, he's got his negatives. But we need in the summer to have filled that chair to support Kyle McCauley, because Kyle McCauley's not a negotiator. He's a talent man. He's a data guy, and he's clearly got good talent ID. So we need to support him and allow him to do his job properly. So I get the people who are a little bit concerned about what happens next, but we can't predict the future, can we? Will we be sat here in 6 months' time with a new technical director who manages to get deals over the line? If we do, then I expect us to have a good summer window. If we don't, then I expect more chaos.
I'm going to be honest. Fucking hell. That's a new one for me in the 2025. I've learned something new. A letter of interest. That is what is going on at our club. Honestly, I say it all the time. You got to get Sullivan out the fucking door, right? People keep saying, "Oh, this ain't going to change," and Sullivan's in charge. Well, fucking start protesting and get the old cunt out. Because that's what we've got to do. We've got to get him out the door. Yeah, it's embarrassing, mate. It really is. And I am surprised. One thing that West Ham, before we get to the match preview, there's no transfers this week. This is one thing that I said it last week. I could accept it last week to a point, even though I didn't agree with it. I was like, well, you got 2 games in a week. Fair enough. Like, it's going to be hard to get people in. This week, there's been no excuses. Like, absolute none, really. And all we've done is sat there. We've had the John Duran link. I think it was Monday. Then we've had Banzizi, or whatever his name is, the other day. Then you got Andre Silva, Brian Brodin. You got him in there. You got Dan Neal. You got Adam Webster. You got fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry coming through, and it's just, you know what? It's draining to a point where you see it from everyone. Do you know what I mean? You see it on social media. You see it on YouTube, and I've always said this, and I always stand by it. You got to get that fucker out. Yeah, he's the one that's the major problem at our club. He's the root of the problem. He's the cancer of the club. When people used to say about other people used to be cancer of the club, I used to laugh, because the cancer of the club is still here, and he's still up the top there, just dictating and running the show. But
can I add one final thing onto that, because you're 100% right. And like the fact that this transfer window, there's been 2, maybe 3 transfers that we've had somebody's jumped the gun on, which means the whatever sources are out there that are leaking information, there's a few different people who have clearly have the same sources, but there's always someone who jumps the gun, which tells me that there's a complete lack of clear communication going on in our transfer dealings, that someone thinks it's done, someone thinks it's nowhere near, someone thinks it's close, and then within an hour or 2, everyone gets their heads together and suddenly speak probably to the other side, and they go, no, it's nowhere near. That's happened like 3 times in the space of 2 weeks. That's how crazy it must be behind the scenes trying to deal with West Ham United. And as we said on Tuesday, there's a reason that clubs get fed up dealing with us, is because we dick them around so much, and Sullivan is so difficult to deal with that they get pissed off and then they no longer want to deal with us. It's why I'm not going to say Daniel Levy's any better, but it's why Spurs won't deal with us, is because they're the same bloke and they're both as evil as each other. But that's just one club out of probably a number across European and world football that will refuse to, or very reluctantly, deal with West Ham, which probably makes it a lot harder for us to get deals done, because everyone knows how he operates, which is why we have to go and get a good technical director who can work with the recruitment team, who is experienced in building Premier League squads. If we don't, then Carl McCauley is probably going to struggle as much as Tim Steidten did. Tim Steiden's big downfall was he couldn't work with Sullivan, and he couldn't figure out how to manage Sullivan, and he couldn't put his ego to one side. You've got a man who's now got talent ID and can control his ego, but can he manage Sullivan? He clearly can't in that position. But that's going to be difficult.
But does transfers come into account with that in order for Sullivan not to be throwing you under the bus? Listen, I'm not defending Sullivan. Yeah, I'm not. I've always said this, that he's vermin of the club and he needs to be out the door sooner rather than later. But there has to be accountability with Stein, though, isn't there? Surely, you have to look at him and go, well, look at his transfer policy. And listen, whether you're the biggest backer of Tim Steidten or you're like me, I couldn't care less if he's here or not. My attitude to Tim Steidten, he's a paid employee, Jay, and he's paid to do a job, and that's all it is. That's all he is. That's all I want him to do. Right? He's paid to work for West Ham to find us talent, and at the end of the day, that I'm not going to sit there and sing a song about the fucking geezer because he doesn't represent us. He's just an employee. Like, it's no different to someone who's like Steve Potts, who's behind the scene. He's a club legend. He's been at the club for many a year. You know, it's like you represent like the club, so you're there to do a job at the end of the day. So I do think transfers also have to come into account on this, mate. Also.
Yeah, and I think that's where when I first started, there's a lot of, honestly, I'm sure you're as excited as I am that we don't have to talk about this bloke for much longer. But the be all and end all for me, I agree with you, is what's his talent ID like and what deals did he get over the line? There are deals, and we won't go into attributing different names to different people behind the scenes because I can't be asked. But he's clearly negotiated well. He's clearly a closer. He can clearly get deals done. It's just the ones that he'd ID'd through his network have not been good enough, ultimately. And that was his downfall, is everyone looks at the Luis Guilherme and the Nicholas Füllkrug deals, which have ultimately cost us. I would imagine that the fact that Potter's come in and Luis Guilherme is not getting minutes when we are completely depleted and desperate for forward players means he's probably not up to it. It means it was probably a bad signing. And if two managers have come in and gone, this guy's not it, then like if you spend 25 million quid on a nobody, you're going to have to be accountable to that. And that is ultimately what's hurt him. So
I completely agree with you on that. When two managers are not playing this Guilherme and the current manager has got no pace up front, but he just doesn't believe in his kid. It just tells you all you need to know. There's nothing against Luis Guilherme, right? It's nothing at all. And I said it on the video earlier on. It's the wrong signing at the wrong time. Do you know what I mean? If we've got our squad built and we've got players who are young, up and coming players around him, there's a completely different scenario. But when you're doing a major rebuild in your first transfer as Luis Guilherme, sorry, you're gonna get called out on that. You are. And like, listen, I know people hate Sullivan. And because I'm the first one in there, I hate him and all. But you have got to stand back and go, what the fuck is that young kid doing here when you're doing a rebuild? Like, and I know it's hard for people to accept. People just can't accept it sometimes, and I understand that. But that is the question for me. And then people use the Duran situation, saying that Sullivan wouldn't give him no more money and all that. And my attitude to that is, if you've got 150 million pounds and your budget's 150 million, you can't spend 151. Do you know what I mean? You just can't. Like it's not doable. Do you know what I mean? Even though I would love them to do it, they should have worked around it a lot better. Right? There's so many different issues on that. I will say that. Right, let's come to this. Where are we? Match preview time. Let's talk about Aston Villa, mate. We played them the other week. We lost to him the other week. I thought we put in a spirited performance. That was the rise of Mr. Skulls. What are you saying about Sunday, mate?
It's. I was thinking about this with Villa, right? Villa have played us a bit. Have been so lucky with their timing when they've played us. They played us first game of the season when we had a new manager who had clearly no idea what he was doing, and had an unfit squad. Apparently, pre-season was a shambles. So they played us at the right time. Beat us 2-1, and we missed a huge chance in the dying seconds to snatch a draw from them. Then fast forwards to a couple weeks ago, we've got rid of the guy who had no idea what he was doing. The new man had 24 hours. Our striker goes out with an injury. Our right winger, who was on fire, goes out with an injury. Lo and behold, we were leading the game 1-0 and lose the game 2-1 because we just ran out of legs, which we did in the first game as well. Annoyingly, mate, I kind of see the same kind of issues are still there, aren't they? None of those injured players are back. I agree. The rise of Ollie Scholes was the shining light of what has happened in the Potter at the start of the Potter era. I still find it funny that we're talking about the Potter era. We got more eras than Taylor Swift at this point. So it's going to be interesting. The thing that sticks in my mind as well is Villa just played on Tuesday, and I watched a big chunk of that game. They put out a very strong team, and they lost the game 1-0. So they had to keep playing their strongest team from throughout. They couldn't take their foot off the gas at any point, and they couldn't get the job done. They created a lot of chances, but they'll be tired. And this is the first week that Graham Potter, as he said in his press conference today, this is the first week that Graham Potter's had a full week training the lads. Fixtures been coming thick and fast, haven't they? So he's not really had time to do back-to-back sessions, back-to-back days, getting his ideas across. And I thought he spoke really well in his press conference today, talking about the fact that, the ideas aren't there yet, but at the same time, they're not going to be there yet. This is a process, and it's going to take a little bit of time to get those ideas across. That being said, we're still without our entire best front three. So, look, I expect it to be difficult, but if we're going to have a chance, then it could be a tired Villa who are underprepared and coming into this thinking we beat this lot 2 weeks ago and we'll beat him again. So, yeah, you never know, mate. What are you saying?
John Duran. There you go. Do you know what I mean? Talk about this fucking club pissing off a player that loves to score a goal against us. Do you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous, isn't it? What am I expecting? I'm expecting I don't know what to expect in defence. No Mavropanos. He's currently suspended. We need Jarrod, Bowen and Somerville back. I think Somerville will be back. That's what I'm predicting. And I've got a feeling Bowen's on the bench. If he's running on the grass, I can't see West Ham sitting there and giving him another 8 days, 9 days. Our next game ain't till Chelsea on the following Monday. I think he's coming back, mate. And if he comes back, that gets the fan base up and running straight away, because we need Bowen more than ever, in this sort of current situation. Villa are a good side. I watched them against Arsenal last week. I was in a pub in Suffolk with my brother-in-law and was watching the game. And I'm going to be honest, at 2-0 down, I thought, fucking hell, Villa ain't all that. Then all of a sudden, they just kicked into gear. Tillerman's run the show for them. And then Matty Cash putting in probably one of the best crosses all season. And, getting a draw at the game. And they could have won the game. They really could have done it. If it was another sort of 5-10 minutes, they might have nicked the game. So, it's going to be a tricky game for us. We've got to be on it. I don't know about personnel, but we will get that. But what are you saying about John Duran, mate? Because
news of a potential £80 million bid coming in from Saudi imminently as well, which is interesting. It's such an interesting situation, isn't it? Like, first of all, again, it just reeks of David Sullivan, the timing of that bid, knowing that we're going to play them at the weekend, throwing a derogatory bid at them that they're never going to accept, just to rile up Villa and rile up that player, is just hilarious. I did find it interesting that Emery was asked in his press conference before the Monaco game about John Duran quite openly about how you're going to get him in the team after, he clearly is good enough to play first team football. And he was talking about the potential of playing them both together. And they were, of him and Watkins, sorry. They were horrid together. It didn't. They're both occupying the same spaces. It didn't really work. There was no real synergy between them because they both want to be the number 9 that's on the last man, ready to score goals.
Yeah.
So I found that very interesting. So I don't necessarily expect them to both play together. I fully expect Watkins to start and Duran to come on for the last half an hour. But again, he's going to come on and he's going to be desperate to score, and he is going to give everything to show us what we're missing, basically. And I hope it's the last time. I hope Saudi bid 80 mil and then we never see him in the Premier League again, because I'm honestly fed up of hearing about this bloke. And we know Saudi is the graveyard for careers at the moment. Like, have you heard Ivan Toney's name or Mitrovic's name or anyone who's gone over there? So I hope
Tony.
Tony. Exactly. And you won't. So if he's going to score one more goal against us, bro, get it done and then please leave. And let's just not go through this every single time we play Villa. So a bit worrying. But another quick thing I would add: Villa's chance creation is very, very good. If we're a team that struggles to create chances, my God, can they cut defenses open? And the Monaco game that I watched, they had tons of chances, they just couldn't take them. Watkins had an off night, and their goalkeeper, the Monaco goalkeeper, had a really good game. So if they do that through us and they cut us open when we've got one fit centre back, then it could be really, really difficult watching.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I actually agree with you on this. Let's come to the start in the lineup, Jay. Right, I'll tell you, we've not got available. We've got no Mavropanos suspended. We don't know about Bowen and Somerville, and the rest seem like they're all ready to go. What are we saying about the starting lineup, mate?
Oh, this is tough. Well, we obviously know Fabianski's going to be in goal. It's good that Areola seems to be back.
Yeah.
And he's available, but I don't expect him to get anywhere near the pitch. So we know Fabs is going to be in goal. And I was thinking about this. Caelan Casey is the one that you would go to as our fourth choice centre back, as an out and out centre back.
Yeah.
Is it fair on him to throw him in at Villa Park in either a 4-4-2 or a 3-4-2-1 or whatever Potter wants to play? What do you think on that?
I don't know on this one because, like, the problem is he could get ruined, the kid, but then he could be a gem. That's the problem. Do you take the risk? For me, I'd let him play. I'd give him a go. I think fuck it. Mavropanos is shit. He's a proven international, and he's crap. Like, and people believe in Mavropanos. I don't. Do you know what I mean, let Casey play? Like, he's earned his opportunity now. So listen, we can't keep holding players back in key positions when we're desperate, and we are desperate at the minute. Like, if Casey doesn't play, then who are you going to put there? Alvarez, Souček, possibly. I don't think that's right. I think let Caden Casey have his moment. Yeah, if it's good enough for Skulls, it's good enough for him. Now, if we can get him in the back three, then I wouldn't mind that. But who's the other centre half on that one? That's the only problem. Maybe Wan-Bissaka, and then you push Sufal as a right wing back, Emerson as a left wing back, or it could be Cresswell. So you could have Casey, Gilman, Cresswell, which is dead pace really. But I honestly don't know on this one. I really don't. And for me, I think give the lad the opportunity, and you just never know. He could come in. He could have like a Ben Johnson moment at Man City many years ago when he come in and he looked really, really good. Do you know what I'm saying? Or it could be an absolute nightmare, and he could have a Declan Rice moment where at Liverpool away, we was 4-0 down at half time, I think it was, and he had a nightmare. So, give me your choice, Jay.
I think mine depends a lot on Crescencio Somerville, and if Crescencio Somerville is fit to start. Fuck you, Steve Tiley. I think it all depends on Crescencio Somerville's availability. So, and the reason I say that is I agree with you. If it really scares me, the concept of playing like Cresswell at left centre back, Wan-Bissaka at right centre back. It doesn't quite fill me with any confidence to have two fullbacks playing in the wide centre back positions. Doesn't really work for me. I would be happy if Kilman plays centre back, Casey plays left sided centre back, Wan-Bissaka plays right sided centre back. If Crescencio Somerville is fit to play that right wing back role, he did so well at Villa Park. So if Cree is fit, then I'd probably do that. If he's not fit, I'd probably go to 4 at the back, just because Sufal had such a horror show there the other night that I wouldn't want to put anyone through that again. I would go 4 at the back, and I would probably start Casey. If like he's ready, I would happily start him. And I would say Kilman, Casey, Wan-Bissaka, Emerson. If Cree's not available to play the right wing-back role. Obviously, Emerson would play the left wing-back role in that situation as well. So my entire formation and game plan revolves around Crescencio Somerville in this, because if you don't have him, I think you're giving up any way of creating chances with that 5 at the back, because Sufal won't create enough. Wan-Bissaka, I don't know if he'll work with Sufal very well, and I don't think Emerson will necessarily create enough from left wing back as well. But if Somerville's there, you've got a wide player who will be able to create. So yeah, it's a complicated situation for me, to be honest.
What about, because obviously Skulls as sort of the left wing back position, and maybe pushing Emerson as like the left sided defender to a point. I know he's not very good defensively, but I'm just trying to think of options here, because the only other options there is you got Souček in there, which you're taking away his attacking threat. Alvarez in there, who's like runs in quicksand. So who else is there? You can't really put Guido in there because I'm not on that one. So who else really is there? I think you're going to have to shift someone who's a left back or left wing back into a third centre half role. And Cresswell, I don't know about that one. I don't know. Not against Villa. Pace merchants all over the gaff, aren't they? Let's be real.
Yeah, and this is the thing. This is why I'd pick my youngster who I'm going to start. Like, I don't think you can have Skulls and Casey in the same team. I personally don't like the idea of Emerson and Scarles operating together on that left-hand
Yeah.
side. I would like it potentially like next season after Scarles has got a whole season under his belt. But then I would maybe see Scarles as the left-sided centre-back. I honestly don't know, but I think it's probably not going to work personally.
Right. Let's say Somerville's fit. What we saying then?
Let's say Somerville's fit. Then I go Kilman, Casey, Wan-Bissaka as a back three. I go Somerville and Emerson as my wing backs. And then we move into the midfield. Midfield two. He goes 2 and 2, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I'd probably go Souček and Alvarez as my midfield two. Personally, I'm not sure. I think Souček and Alvarez. Yeah. I'd go Souček and Alvarez.
Who's the front three? Somerville, Paqueta, and
some of it was on the right wing back, isn't he? So if we're going 3-4-2-1, Somerville's already at right wing back. We've got Alvarez and Souček. I'm probably going Paqueta and Soler, and then with Kudus up front. Dependent on. Well, Bowen's not going to be fit to start, is he? Yeah, I'd probably go Paqueta, Soler, and Kudus up front. It's quite interchangeable. Soler will get stuck in the press. We've seen what he can do, what he can bring to the press. Souček will join in with it when he needs to. I'd like to see the same kind of pressing performance that we did against Fulham, because I thought that was really good. Again, Potter in his press conference spoke about Kudus playing in the 9. And spoke about how we tried to work to his physicality against Palace, and it worked in some things, and then in other things it just didn't work. So now that we've got the chance to actually have worked like with a bit more time and tried a bit more and worked with him a bit more in training, you would hope that means that we'll have a bit more of an idea as to how to like leverage his physicality and get runners in behind. I think Soler could make runs in behind, and I think Somerville from that right wing back slot can make runs in behind as well, because when we don't have runners, we just don't offer any threat. So we have to have figured that out.
I think for me, if Somerville's fit, I'll go 4-3-3. I'll go Casey and Kilman. I think Casey, listen, if he's going to make mistakes, he's going to make mistakes. Simple as that. And we just don't know, do we? Let's be real. Like, he's a young lad, but we will back him. That's what we do at West Ham. We back the youngsters. So I'll go 4-3-3. Wan-Bissaka on the right. Emerson on the left. I know people want Scarles in, but Emerson's always going to overdo Scarles. Kilman, Casey, 3-man midfield for me. Souček, Alvarez, and Soler. I think, take out Guido. Front three of Crescencio, Somerville on the left, Kudus on the right, and Lucas Paqueta as a false 9 striker. That's the way I'd go. I think we need someone up front who can at least hold the ball up to a point and bring others into play. I think Paqueta can do that to a point. We need Cry back in this side urgently. And listen, it's going to be tough, but with the front three and even possibly Alvarez slotting in as the third centre half out of possession, do you know what I mean? It can work to a point. It really can. Right, let's come to predictions. Jay, what are you saying?
I just think this game is going to come a little bit too soon. We're on the verge of having Bowen and Somerville back, and I genuinely think that is the start of Potter actually showing what he can do with this team. He's had 1 week. I just don't think, even if we get those starting lineups, even if we have Crescencio Somerville fit, the bench is going to be light. Bowen will only be able to play maximum like 5 or 10 minutes because they'll be terrified.
Do you risk Bowen in this situation? Like currently right now, if Bowen's fit, do you play him from the start and then let him?
No.
So you don't play him from the start, right? So if we get to the 70th minute, do you bring him on?
If you're within a goal.
Yeah.
If the game's still alive, if you're like 3-1 down, 3-0 down or whatever, then you just leave him on the bench and don't bother. But as far as I'm concerned, West Ham have a habit of throwing players in too soon, and I don't think we necessarily need to in this game. It's not a game that I don't think anyone will be expecting to necessarily get anything from. If you're predicting a West Ham win, then like good luck to you, is what I say. And I would like to see Bowen there just in case we've got something to try and do, because I guarantee if you're like 2-1 down and you turn to our captain, he rips the armband off whoever's got it, and he comes on the pitch and just gives it his all for 10 minutes plus stoppage time. Like, it will just G the lads up so much. It offers something different. He's our best finisher. I would leave him on the bench just for that. But if you're 3-0 down and he's on the bench, then I'd say just leave him on the bench and don't bother. But there's no way that I would start him in this game. I think it's probably too soon.
So what you saying? Prediction?
I think it comes too soon. I think we probably lose 2-0. Personally, maybe like 2-1, maybe 3-1. I'm going to say it's probably 2-0 Villa. I just don't think we've got enough goal threat going forward.
I'm going to be a bit more positive, Jay.
Sorry to bring the mood down.
Yeah, that's coming from me, mate. You know what I mean? I think West Ham gets something out of this game. I don't know why. Just got a feeling West Ham might turn up in this one. If Price Enzo Somerville is fit and he's on the pitch, then that's a major boost for us, because then we can play like a counter-attacking style with having Kudus and Cryer on the break basically every single time. If Bowen's there and all, then I'm going to be honest, it G's up the whole fan base. The whole fan base are up and running for this game and really want to have a go at this game. Do you know what I mean? I get what people are saying that the season's already done, why risk him? But you still got to play the games, mate. There's still points to be played and matches to be won, and we've got to win these matches. If Cryer and Bowen are there, I'm going for a draw. I think West Ham get a draw out of this game. We watched Villa the other week against us, and I'm going to be honest, the first half we played all right, and then obviously injury sort of derailed us a little bit. Yeah, if we can sort of play to that standard again over the 90 minutes, we can definitely get something out of this game. Obviously, they played on Tuesday night in a pretty sort of strong, tough game where they played all their best players. We've had a full week under Potter, and Potter will get his point across. I don't think Potter's going to go there without a game plan. And that, like, he's always got a game plan. So I just believe in a draw in this game. I don't think we're good enough to beat them. I really don't. I think they're a good side. I think they've got a good defence. But I don't think we're going to lose this game. I'd be very shocked if West Ham lose this game, especially having a free week and sorting out the personnel. Also, to sort of round it off, if Casey comes in and plays, it's a free hit for the kid. He ain't going to get no criticism here. And basically, we need him because we've got no one else. And that is it on that. Jay, any final words from you, mate, about this week as a whole?
We're nearly there, aren't we? One more week of January, and it'll all be done, and it'll be in the books until next season. So hang in there, everyone. I'm so happy more than anything that we're on the verge of having these injured players back fit. I'm excited to see this 3-4-2-1 that Potter plays. I'm really excited to see Kudus and Paqueta behind Bowen. That will be so strong. If we can go to Chelsea and put that team out and have Somerville fit at right wing back as well, that's a tasty side. And I would say we've got a good chance of getting something at Stamford Bridge. I'm sure we'll come to that next week. But yeah, look, safe travels to everyone going up there. Hopefully the storm's not too bad.
Would you say that? Would you say that's the future?
I think so. I think so. I think that is the future. And when you look at it, we'll need to, if we can bring in the summer a couple of top quality centre backs and a good number 6. You never know. That could be a really, really good team. We'll wait and see.
Striker front though for you?
Yeah, we need to get a striker. But I will just not account for us ever having a decent striker. Doesn't matter how much money we spend, we will never sign a good striker. So write it off. The only strikers that ever work for West Ham are wingers that are converted into strikers, and then they just bag loads of goals. So happy with Arnautovic, happy with Antonio. It'll probably happen with Bowen as well at some point. So I know we need one, but I would rather we just go and sign defenders because we can't stop conceding goals, and we sign a number 6. And then if Bowen and you got Fulkrug fit next summer, whatever. But it
is what it is. Yeah. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to E20 Zone TV. Hit notification bell. I'll be back probably Sunday, straight after the game, after full. I'll be on my own. Jay will be busy doing family activities. He's got a mother's birthday. Lucas will be at the ground. So go and see Lucas. That man's like a globetrotter at West Ham. He's here, there and everywhere. So, yeah, I'll be back on Sunday. If you're going up there, have a glorious day, and hopefully we get a result. And you know what? Just keep the faith. That's what I'm going to say. I understand what people are saying about everything. This week's been a right shit week, honestly. And let's hope it don't get topped off with a defeat at Villa Park. I will say that. Anyway, from me to you, take care of yourselves, and above all else, each other.